Hey everyone, this is a update to the upgrade. I have built more parts. So right here we have the kit piece and then my bridge on top of it. As you can see, I had people asking if I was going to build this or if I would build this for them, and I have done that. This isn't too bad. Like back here is pretty good as far as detail go. The shape is wrong, as you'll be seeing, but the details aren't bad. These details are spot on. These details get a little wonky. You can see the details on these vents are pretty darn good, actually, pretty close to the studio model. The disruptors aren't too bad. Shape's a little off. That little kick right there, that little nub right there, I don't know where that comes from. There is a little cylinder there. This is a cylinder. You've got this ladder structure. It's not bad. It's pretty close. These are nothing like the studio model. And the huge offender is the front here. Not only does it angle, and the studio model does not angle, but it is nothing like the studio model at all. These shapes are all wrong. And the biggest complaint, no windows. So what I've done is rectify a lot of that. You have this piece here to replace this. This piece right here to replace the rear piece here. And then we have a new bridge and a new, well, this is for your lights. We'll get to that later. So what I've done to this piece is all I've done is add keys to help you line everything up. And these don't marry very well right now, but that's because of the printing process. I had to print them on this side, going up like this, so these details wouldn't be ruined. And this I had to print like this, so these details wouldn't be ruined. So I got a little, as you can see, I shine it in the light, got little bubbles and such. We will be sanding all this down flat, so it will marry this piece. We'll be sanding this flat too, because that's where all the bubbles are. And it will fit pretty much like this when we're done, or close to it, hopefully closer, because this has a little bit of I can see through it in places. We're just showing off. I could just see it. Oh well. So this piece just will fit in here. We have some sanding to do on this, especially on this leading edge right here. But this fits in here very snug. I wanted this to be a very tight tolerance. So if you can even get it, yeah, it's pretty difficult to get it in there without sanding. You can see we need to sand a lot of that edge down. So that's like that. It kicks up a little right now. Won't do that when we're done. So yeah, I've built this as close to the studio model as I could. These vents, there's only I think a little detail, a little square that's in these corners. That was the only thing that was missing from on the studio, or on the kit model kit. Otherwise, it's pretty good. And of course, you can't see these very well because it's all kind of gray. Once we get some paint on this, you'll be able to see these details. They will pop. Disruptors are more correct to the studio model. We've got the ladder structure. We've got this cylinder. We've got these two vents, or whatever they are. We've got this vent on the side. This piece up here, it's hard to tell, but right by my fingernail, there is a little cannon that comes off there, because there's one on the studio model. There's little bulkheads on either side. You can see the separation line down below. There's that little cylinder that's right there. There is a little almost clock piece looking that's circle that's right there. So all the details that are on the studio model are represented there. This is correct to the studio model. The Kronos one has more of these kind of lines that come up on the side to mirror this. So this is definitely the Katanga. We will get to the Kronos one, I promise. I'll be doing that. I'll be redoing the bridge here. There's some detail differences. A lot of those detail differences are because they broke parts off. So I'm not sure in what part of the life of the model they broke these parts off. Some of them are Christie's auction. Like there's some lines that go along this beveled edge around here that they broke off. But other ones, you can tell they broke it off when they were building the Kronos 1, like these details. Most of these details right here, there's cylinders up here, they're gone. This cylinder back here is completely gone and has been painted over, so you can tell that they did that. That was done pre-packing away, so that was probably the Kronos 1, probably most likely, because you can see this cylinder right here, this little tiny cylinder, and then this little bit bigger cylinder are completely gone from the Kronos 1 and painted over. There's no color behind it, there's no green behind it, so you can tell that that was done before the Kronos 1 was filmed. And the same thing over here with this piece. But as you can see, this is more correct to the studio model now. Got those vents in there. That was a printing mishap right there. That's why we're using this, and I'm not I don't have this stored away for any of you guys that want it. So we're just going to use this one because I don't mind. Just a little gap right there. All these details are more correct to the studio model. This line that comes down here that kicks alongside this cylinder thing. There's also a little divot taken out of that cylinder. Well, I'm going to fill that in. And then it comes around here and it kicks up to these squares. You can see these squares. This structure here has cylinders behind it, and those cylinders are a little bit proud of the hull, and they should be. They are that way in the studio model. These two vents are more correct to the studio model. And all these details in here, this little up area, this little kicked up area here, this area here, this square, rectangle, and then there's lines here, there's a couple lines here, and then the vents. And of course these are represented on the kit piece fairly well, and about where they should be. They're weird shapes. They're almost triangles as opposed to being rectangles, which they should be. And the shape is different too, if you notice. This is more of a U, and this is more of a V. It should be more of a U than the V. So there's that. And of course, all the windows are here. All the details are here on this. All the studio model details. This thing has details that the 1350 doesn't have because they omitted them for reasons I still don't understand. Oops, hit the camera. I still don't understand. You can see there's these ladder structures. My camera will focus. It loves the background. It hates the foreground. There we go. These ladder structures where my finger is. There's one here, and there's one on this side. You can see it right there. And those are on the studio model. They got these little cylinders. You can see right there. There's a cylinder and there's another cylinder. They got the wrench, which is over here, and right next to that is the ladder structures. That is the weirdest omission I've ever seen because these are very prominent features. There are quite a few shots where you can actually see these lattice or ladder structures. So, and we'll be able to see those better once we get everything painted. And yes, windows, cut out windows. That was the big part of the request. Cut out the windows. So, we'll bring this piece in. This piece is a mount for your LEDs, and we're going to have to use smaller LEDs. You can use probably 2 mils if you just want to mount, like 1, 2, 3, or 4 2 mils in here. But this is designed to work in tandem with a strip lighting, which we'll put right about there. The strip lighting is this thinner strip lighting that I have here. So, and I think, is this wired? No, we're gonna have to wire this. So it's about 3 bulbs there, and I'm gonna run this at, I think, 9 volts for the test. That should be more than enough. I'm gonna do some testing to see if I want it back this far or if I want it up closer. I don't think I'll need it up closer. I'm also gonna put a transparency. I'm going to sand up the transparency, and I'm gonna glue it to the back side of here. You have a lot of gluing surface, as you can see, in between the windows. So we'll glue that in there. We will put our mount with our LEDs in it, and we will do some testing as to positioning, because I'm not sure even where the positioning is going to be. I guess most people will probably be running at 9 to 12 volts, so I'm going to test it at 9 and see how good that is. I think that's going to be more than enough. You just need to see light out the windows, and because of this and how it's curved and how the light will work, 1, 2, 3 bulbs should be good. The other thing I did is This is a cutout for the bulb, the kit bulb. You can see. Pop it on there. If we can pop it on there. Should, oh, it's popped in. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Okay, that's in place. But as you can see, I made a cutout over here for you to run your wires for the lights here and the lights in your bridge dome. So you run those wires probably in tandem. You probably even connect them right here, through here, and then down and out through here. These are the wires for our photon emitter. So that is how that will work. And we will. Getting this lined up was the biggest challenge. It is lined up. I keep on seeing this and thinking it's not dead center, but this line right here is dead center to this, and everything is lined up. It looks like it's over a little bit too far this away, but it's not. It's just an optical illusion. It's messing with my head and it bugs me. So that goes like that. This will go like this. And then we'll put this in the back like this. So to give it a little bit of an idea of how it will look all together. So I'm going to start painting because we're going to get some light blocking going on this. And then I will be back with some more on the assembly of the upgrade kit. Be back in a second. Okay, so we have the initial paint job done on our parts. As you can see, it doesn't quite match the old stuff, but I got to remember this has been through a couple of different washes too. So black wash and a brown wash will bring this green more into this realm. It won't be quite the same though. So initial paint done. You can see even with just the initial paint, all those details are popping out. Same thing on this. You can see all those nice details. That thing back there. All these details on the side you can now see, and on the front. I think that looks really nice like that. Kind of hard to make out on the camera. If camera will focus. There we go. You can see all those nice details are popping. They'll pop even more once you get a wash going on. So now we're just going to do our detail painting. So I'm going to paint this bridge up same way I did here with these colors. I have to remember how I mixed up this tan. I think it's just a little yellow and brown, or yellow, white, and brown. This is actually just raw sienna, the brown here. So that's easy enough. But we have more details to paint on this. There are touches of orange and some red all over the place on this. I just noticed that. I don't think I put it on this here, but I intend to on here. Like these little things have chevrons of red and orange. These little things here. There are hard to see, but there are tiny little bumps on this square right here. You can kind of see them there. Those are silver, and there's little squares you can kind of see on this box, and those get little orange dots on them. There's a little dot of red and orange over here. There's a little dot of orange and red there. Over here. Oops. There's some on here. Even back here on this piece, there's a little dot of red and orange on them. Some dots of red and orange going up this side here. And then, of course, along the front, there's some too. These, of course, are black. We'll have to paint those black. The black does start right up here, so this section here is also black, and then it ends right here. And the in-between sections everyone paints these as black. They're not black. They're a very dark, dark, dark green, which I will mix up. That dark green actually continues onto this section right here. So this little line right there, and back here. Continues to this line to where it goes into this little circular or half circle section. So this gets dark, this gets dark. And we'll put a little dark paint. I don't think you need it really in there. You can see those vents are very proud, and you can see them pretty well. I don't think we need much. But we're just going to do a little detail painting, and then some washing, and then Same thing over here. I'm just going to put a little bit of silver, take a little bit of silver off on the disruptors. You can actually see the cannons. There they are. Don't breathe. Right there. That's a cannon. That's the disruptor cannon. I'm actually really happy that that came out. You can see it. So we're going to highlight that with just a little touch of silver, dry brushing on the cannons just to make that pop even more. So I'm going to get started on that, doing the painting on this again, and then just detail painting on that, and I'll get a flat coat on that. I got a little bit of a satin coat on this. It'll look more like this when we're done. So I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so we have our weathering done. Let's show off the bulb, because it's the unimportant part. I just hand painted those in and did a little black wash and some streaking and a little bit silver highlighting. Nothing too fancy, because this part really doesn't matter. These do, though. Here is our bridge dome. You can see with our weathering done and our painting done. So a little black wash, and then on top of that I took some Tamiya silver and I just went over the whole top of here, and then I brushed off the excess just to make some of these details pop even more. You can see them popping nicely. So there are little dots of orange and red all over the place. Well, not really all over the place. I did it in some places. See, like a really fine microscopic one right there. And there's an even smaller one up on the tactical dome right there. And I did that. Well, you could do that with a toothpick if you cut down the edge with a hobby knife and make it really fine. But I find toothpicks more often than not just absorb the paint. So you'd have to do it really fast like that. And I just like to take my time when I'm doing very, very fine detailing. So what I use are these little guys. Let's pull one off. These are the ends of LEDs I've cut off. Let's see if they'll focus. And these are really good for doing very small detail painting. Especially if you have a little notch like that. You can see there's a little notch in the end. It's kind of at an angle. You can get a really, really small amount of paint on there and get some detail that's very, very tiny and microscopic, like that little one on the tactical dome. There's one right there. There's one right there. Hard to see. There's some on the front too. So yeah, black wash, silver, added rust. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but there's not rust on the studio model. I just wanted to do it to add a little character to the back of the bridge dome. I put some rust in here where it would kind of collect, and on the other side. The one thing I did like is the rust on those pipes. Otherwise they kind of vanish. So you see those three little pipes? Yep, there's a little red right there, dot. So that is our top, our bridge and tactical dome right there. The rest of the Cobra head is right here. So as you can see, I have everything painted up, and everything is, because of our wash and then our silver highlight, everything's popping out pretty nice. Went a little bit overboard on either the paint or the clear coat. As you can see, stuff is a little bit mushy. It's not like that in real life. I just was a little heavy-handed with, I think it was a clear coat. Stuff will be a lot more defined if you don't heavy hand your paint and your clear coat. You can see we got those ladder structures. You got that with a wrench. You got the two little cylinders there. Everything looking nice. And there's our side. You can see a little bit of rust there. Add some rust in here. I believe there's a rust spot, a big old rust spot like that on the studio model. I know there's one back here on this thing. Now, whether or not it's the same shape is up to you, but it's not. But yeah, there's a rust spot back there. There's a rust spot here. I added a little bit more rust just to give some more character to it. There's some rust in here. There's some rust here. And then on this container here, and it's actually leaking down. Same thing here on these. I think I got it on the other side a little bit. Yep. And then on the disruptors down here, actually a little streaking. Add a little rust streaking here too. You can see the streaks just a little bit. I didn't want to go overboard. And a little bit of rust back here that we collected. And the one thing I like about the silvering I did is you can really see those disruptors now because it highlights all the edges, and you can really see the little cannon. There it is, tiny cannon, but you can see it now. So yeah, that is that. We are done with the painting part. Now we have to get all the electronics done, and here's just what that looks like put together. There is a gap there that won't be there. I'm going to smoosh it down with a clamp and glue it very, very well. But that's what that looks like all together with that. Oh, let's just put this on. Let's put the whole thing together and see what that looks like. If I can get it all lined up. There we go. There you go. That's with the kit piece. Again, it is kicking way up back here, but we will settle that. And there we go. We'll clamp that very well. So yeah, that is what it looks like all together. My light's blowing it out a little bit here. Let us turn on other lights that aren't so bright. There we go. You can see it a little better. That's about what she'll look like when she's all assembled. So now we have the electronics. So it's the same thing with the other kit. We have to do a light in the bridge dome, and I don't know where my clear pieces are at the moment. I think they're amongst the robot parts I have over here. I got a bunch of robots I'm building. Oh, I have 2 robots that I'm building. I should really get back to that because it's almost done. Just have to put them together. Dang, I'll have to find that. I do have the clear piece, the little dome piece that goes in here. That I will be light blocking the bottom because I don't want any red spillage into here. Here is our red LED that we'll be using. It's already wired up. I love it. So yeah, no spillage into this area because I don't want it to pop out of our windows in front. So we'll be doing that. And then the other thing we're going to do is take this piece and we're going to pop that in there. Not like that. We're going to pop it in correctly. Like that. And we'll be putting our LEDs. I still have to wire these. These little ones are a little bit of a pain to wire just because that's so small. I usually cut this. I usually cut the connectors. They're really small. Please focus. My camera has an obsession with focusing on things I don't want it to focus on. So I cut those connectors with a hobby knife. Just so it's easier to solder. For me it is. Because I am very clumsy and heavy-handed. So we're just going to use these 3. And get them soldered up with a wire. We're going to get that in there. We'll be using, I'm pretty sure, a 9 volts. I got a 9 volt adapter. Which also means we'll have to be resisting. And not forgetting to resistor these before we put these in. So I'm going to snip this, put a resistor on it, or maybe just wire up a new bulb because that would be easier. I could do that. I'll wire up a new bulb. Yeah, this bulb that's in here already for our photons, we're gonna have to. That's gonna be fun. Getting the wires down and around and through here. We'll have to figure out how we're gonna do that. Maybe we'll just make the wires go at the angle I want them to and try to feed them in there. That's an exciting adventure for later. So yeah, I'm gonna get this well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do a clear coat, a matte clear coat, and I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to tell you how I did the rust. The rust, as you can see, I painted it on. Just so I had more control where it went and how. Okay, so we're getting some of our electronics done, some wiring. I got this all wired up for our tactical dome. There's some tulip on there drying. I don't think I need it though. I did some testing and you get some red light, but it's just a little bit of red light. It's not, you're not going to see it through all this I got going on up here. So It's up to you whether you want to even bother with it. But yeah, this now has a resistor on it. So I can take my 9 volt and I can light it up with that. Let's see that there. Hard to tell, but it lights up now with a 9 volt. Same thing here. You can see this resistor. I will clean this up later on. I'm going to be tying all the wires in together back here, so I kind of left this as a little bit of a mess. Just some solder on there. So this is our main focus right now. I've got a LED strip right here. I do have a transparency behind here. It's the other half of this, and I did sand it down fairly well, but you can still see hot spots. So I put this little bit of tissue in here just as a test, and I think it works pretty good. So I'm going to leave this. Do not put big fat heat shrink tubing on your LED strip, because it kicks up here, as you can see. Since it is rubbery, it will push down, but it currently is pushing this part up a little bit. That's not a worry, but just so you're aware. And you might want to actually cut off the end of this here just to have some room for your wires. Another thing that I did, a big oopsie, is those keys I put on these edges. Yeah, you're gonna want to take a rotary tool, get rid of those. If you're using the if you're using this piece here to back up your LED strip, if you're doing that. Otherwise, you can, if you're just using just standard LEDs, you can probably leave them on there. But otherwise, you have to grind these down. Not too big of a deal. It took maybe like a couple of minutes just to grind those down. And this will still work out just fine. This piece back here just keys in right there, and you know, it's not like it's gonna go too far either way. But yeah, as you can see, that heat shrink tubing is kicking this side up just a little bit, but all we have to do is squeeze and it comes down. We'll get it better. There we go. We'll put some hardy clamps on this when we glue it. So let's give this a little look-see with our battery. Put that on the correct one here. Alright, here we go. As you can see, it's lighting up all those windows nice and evenly now with everything we get going on there. It looks a little blue, but it's not. And of course, once we get this lid on here, you won't see that gap, of course. But yeah, that's what it looks like. And I'm really happy how that turned out. That looks really nice. So I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to wait for this stuff to dry. It takes forever to dry, the tulip does. And we're going to glue that in there. We'll get everything situated with this. We'll glue our top on. I think I might have to tear this guy up. Well, that was easy. So now we're going to run our wires easily. I guess I didn't put a lot of glue on here. We're going to run our wires easily down through here. So... Alright, I'm going to get to work on this, and I'll be back when I have something to show you guys. Alright, so I've got some wires just temped in here. A little bit of black tape over here to prevent shortage, because that totally didn't just happen to me in a different take. Of course not. Oh, let's do this. Let's do it the right way. I'm looking through the camera to do this, so this might... There we go. Alright, there we go. Everything's lit up. You can see our tactical dome. I say everything, but there's an omission because I don't know. I don't know what happened. There is a resistor. You can even see it through the heat shrink tubing. There's a resistor right there. I think some of my wires might have circumvented that resistor somehow, and I just popped that like a little piece of popcorn. You can still see the detail. It's sad. That was my favorite light. But anyways, we have the windows lit up. They're looking pretty snazzy. Tactical dome, but you saw that in the other video, so that's not anything new. You can just see the two eyeballs up back, and you can see that gap is producing a little light leak there. I got most of the light leak in the front, I think. But yeah, those are our windows. I am surprised how well these turned out, considering these are about 1 millimeter in height. I didn't think the printer would do that, but the printer did done that, as you can see. I'm lost 3 windows over here because of my giant shrink wrap tube that I decided to put in over here. So it's blocking the light, so we can't see in there. It kind of stinks. We'll just say those Klingons are asleep. So yeah, looking pretty nice. Again, gappage is because I didn't sand it flat completely. So you do that. I make a lot of mistakes, so you guys don't have to. It's almost like I do it on purpose, but it's totally not at all. So yeah, just sand these flat and you won't have these giant gaps like that one there. I suppose you could fill it with putty, but it's nicer not to have to. And there's a gap here too, but yeah. So assemble separately these 2 halves, then stick it on here, sand these flat, and you guys will be super cool, unlike me. Yeah, let's just show those windows off one more time. Very nice. We're going to shut it off. So yeah, this whole thing will be $40. That's with shipping and handling. So $30 for the kit, $10 for shipping and handling. It's not just this; it's the whole works, guys. It's your clear window piece or your clear pieces for your engines. It's the photon emitter pieces. It's the engine bezels there. It's these neat little detail pieces that go in the back. That's what I mean. It's the whole kit is $40. If you just wanted to if you just wanted to order this, you just write me and we'll talk. It probably won't be much, like $5-6. But write me here to get yours. I'll put my email in the description also if you want to partake in this. I think it turned out pretty well, paint wise. Yeah, the clear coat kind of took the rust away a little bit. You can still see a little bit there and a little bit back there, but it toned it down, which is actually quite nice. I didn't mention that before, but yeah, toned it down quite nice. So, yeah, that is that. Now, I will be, as I said before, working on the Kronos 1. As far as this piece, nothing mechanically is going to change in the assembly, so I'm not going to put up another assembly guide for this section of the Kronos 1. The only thing that's really changing is the tactical dome and the windows. So different windows, different top of the tactical dome. As I said before, removing some pieces here and some pieces here because ILM broke some stuff off while they were handling it. But I guess it's canon because, you know, it broke off. Or it's just, you know, we could just pretend it's new parts of the ship or different parts. So that's all artistic, though. So that's not going to change. What is going to change is, I can't remember who it was. It was Kenny or the captain or Michael or one of you cats. One of you crazy cats want me to redo the warp nacelles, the inboard warp nacelles. And this is the inboard starboard nacelle, I believe. I'm pretty sure it goes like that. Let me look at my model. Yes. And of course, since AMT hates us, they put the pylon as part of this. Now, I'll have to do a lot of research on this. This is going to take a while. I don't know if this is like this whole thing is new or if it's just this little square in here. If it's just this little square in here, I can get away with just building a back piece to this already molded and... Oh, wow, look at that. Look at the bend on that. I can just... You'd cut this out and then you put my piece in behind the recess. But it would be it'd be a clear piece. Because there is some like artwork or some decorative panels. Whoops. That go on top of it, but it'd be like decorative panels, and then I'd put a clear piece in. I might actually make it all as one piece, and then you just paint over the top of the decorative panels. You just dry brush over it a few times and get the paint, because I think it is bronze. Like the one thing about the Kronos 1 that's cool is for photo etch, they just left the photo etch bronze. So all you'd have to do is like take a nice bronze color. Do I have a nice bronze color over here? I have gold. Oh, I do. I have a nice bronze color. Everything's gonna fall. Yeah, so take a nice bronze and you just dry brush over it. That is the if I can get away with it kind of thing. I'm guessing not. I'm guessing it goes beyond this bulkhead because I think it does go like to this bulkhead and beyond. And I don't know if a clear piece or putting pieces underneath here would be better. I'd rather do that than redo the entire nacelle because I'd have to redo the entire nacelle, which is all bent. Meaning I don't know what I do about this. And these are really proud, by the way. Those are way prouder than they are in the studio model. Cool though, but just way proud. And pretty correct, actually. But, yeah. And if I redid the whole nacelle, which, I mean, not just this side, but the, where are they? Here they are. Let's see. Is this the starboard? Let's pick off the starboard. If this is, hopefully this is starboard. Yes, it is. I mean the whole nacelle. Like, because getting a resin part to marry successfully with an already established kit part isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. It's doable. Wow, look at that gap. But it's not always fun, happy times. And if I redo the nacelle, I could add more detail to it. That's the other thing. I could make it more studio accurate. Even though that this is, again, not too bad for 1979. I know a lot of people pick on this kit, but those details are fairly accurate. I mean, there's more of them, but it's not horrible. The more I look at this kit, the more I actually appreciate it. You know, most people don't appreciate this kit, shall we say. It could use a re-engineering. I kind of honestly wish they would take the 1350 and shrink it that the Polar Lights has, so we could get a nice 537, and then they'd throw the molds away for that for the Enterprise finally, and re-engineer that too. Take their 1/1000th and up that in scale, but I don't think so. It looks like 1/1000th is here to stay. So I'm rambling. Good God, I gotta shut up. So yeah, we got to think about the nacelle for the Kronos one, guys. I might have to rebuild this whole structure, including the pylon, which would really make me angry. But again, I could add super, you know, detail like I did on this. It's a hyper detail. You can see these tiny little details in here. I could get that on the nacelle, make them perfectly studio accurate. Please don't ask me to do that, but I could. So yeah, I'm rambling again, as I said. So if you guys want these, write me. I'll be in development hell, as they say, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the Kronos 1. Probably going to start with this, actually, and just pray that this doesn't have to be done. So, anyways, until next time, you guys take care, and I will see you with whatever I'm doing. It might be robots, and I will give you a little clue. Maybe someone out there recognizes that. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do next time. Anyways, I'll see you guys. Take care.